As Connie was describing to us a little bit earlier, emotional intelligence is a newer version of understanding human intelligence, more based on our ability to build relationships and our ability to foster happiness in ourselves and to tend to the happiness of others. Instead of having one type of intelligence, emotional intelligence talks about 5 different competencies or skills. And I'm going to describe those for you. I want to invite you to think how you navigate these in your own lives. The first one is self-awareness. We can think of self-awareness as the ability to recognize and to understand our own moods, emotions, and drives, as well as their effects on others. The second is self-regulation. Self-regulation is the ability to control or to redirect impulses or moods related to our emotions. You might think of it as our ability to think before we act. The third competency is motivation. In emotional intelligence, motivation is passion to work for something, to achieve something, not for money or for status, but for its own end. The fourth piece of emotional intelligence is empathy. And this is a little different from how we usually use the word. Empathy here is the ability to understand the emotional makeup of other people and the skill in treating other people according to their emotional reactions and needs. The fifth and final proficiency is social skill. That sounds pretty simple. Social skill is managing relationships and building networks. It's finding common ground and building rapport. So I'll read that list of 5 one more time. Self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skill. It is a lot to achieve. But the important thing to remember is these things can actually improve over time. We can grow these. Unlike IQ that is sort of set, emotional intelligence can grow when we work at it. Many of us have used talk therapy to address one or more of those areas. Some of us use meditation practices, or perhaps the wisdom of Solomon helps you find equanimity, remembering that this too shall pass, or taking things one day at a time. More and more, I hear about professional coaches and life coaches. A lot of what they do is dealing with emotional intelligence. Some, perhaps many of us, use medications to assist us in this journey of emotional intelligence. Today, I'm also reminded of another tool that we don't think of very often for expanding our skills. Here in this community, we have a tremendous opportunity to practice skills of emotional intelligence. When someone is a new worship associate or performing music at Tapestry the first time, I often say, don't worry, this is a loving community. People are cheering for you. The same is true for social skills and other pieces of emotional intelligence. This Tapestry community is a loving place to take a little risk, to practice something, and to grow. For me, a big tool more recently in expanding emotional intelligence has been learning more about the physiology of how emotions are made in our bodies. One of the books that I read, that a few of us read with the minister's seminar, was by the title, How Emotions Are Made. It had a pretty big impact on me, coming through a lot of research to understand that emotions aren't these solid things that are the same throughout different people or throughout different societies. Emotions are labels that we borrow from one another to stick onto a huge assortment of different stimuli that are happening within our body. Which means the important part is that developing emotional intelligence is basically starts with what your mother taught you and what every nurse or doctor has ever told you. To get enough sleep, to eat a balanced diet, drink plenty of water, exercise, and try a new thing every once in a while to stimulate your brain. Those basic habits aren't just for our bodies, they're for our minds as well. Basic healthy habits give our body the tools to process the flood of chemical data that we think of as emotions. It's actually kind of disappointing news. There's no magic pill. There's no flipping the happy switch. To cultivate balance and happiness, the best place to start is with healthy habits. Oof. So today's sermon was cut quite a bit short, but I do want to leave you with this. Just a reminder that our emotional lives have a ton to offer. And recognizing the tremendous power of our emotions, some give up and shut them down. The problem is that walling out the bad stuff also means missing out on the good stuff. Some of us take the opposite approach and let emotions take the driver's seat. Then life becomes an unpredictable, scary adventure, minute by minute. More than anything today, I want to invite you into a middle path. To notice our emotions, to notice what's happening in our bodies, to be kind to our bodies, so that we can fully process that raw information. We remember that this too shall pass, and we never, ever need to be alone in our joys or in our griefs. Amen.